today we're going to be looking at fractions. In particular, we're going to be looking at a strategy to be able to add and subtract fractions with different denominators. So our first example is to look at a addition sum. So what we need to do, and I'm going to provide you with a strategy to be able to do this and to reduce errors. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to divide your piece of paper into 4. I want you to write your fraction. I want you to put LCD, which is lowest common denominator. I then want you to rewrite, and last one is to simplify. Okay, so the first step is to actually write down your sum. So we do 5 over 6 plus 3 over 4. Now, when we talk about attempting, what I want you to do is to see if you can basically tell me the lowest common denominator. And the way to do that is to write all the multiples of the two denominators you have here. So we have 6 and we have 4. Okay, so we're going to write our multiples. So let's write down the first few multiples, normally the first 5 or so of each of these numbers. So let's do 6. 6, and if you're not sure of your times tables, let's add on 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. You can stop there. Let's do our 4s. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to find the lowest common multiple here, and that's going to be our denominator. So let's have a look. Do they both have 6? No, they don't. Do they both have 12? Yes, they do. And that's our lowest, okay, because we have nothing lower. So 6 times 2 gives us 12, and 4 times 1, 2, 3 gives us 12. Now, in terms of attempting, this is what I want to see, these two first steps. So these two first steps will give you 1 mark here. Now, what we're going to do is we're actually going to apply this to our fraction. So we're going to rewrite, 5 plus 3 over 4. And what we're going to do is we're going to now make that our denominator the same. And our denominators, we have decided, are going to be turned into 12. Turn 6 into 12, we've got to multiply by 2. And 4 into 12, we've got to multiply by 3. Now the rule with fractions is whatever you do on the bottom, you've got to do to the top. So we multiplied times 2 on the bottom. We multiply the 2 by top, we multiply by 3 on the bottom, we're going to multiply the 3 on top. Now, I'm going to rewrite this. 5 times 2 is 10, 6 times 2 is 12, now it's plus, 3 times 3 is 9, and 4 times 3 is 12. Now, the last step here, now if you're able to only get to this point, brilliant, that's another mark here. It tells me that you understand the process of making each of these fractions with the same denominator, and that's an important numeracy skill. The next step from here is to solve it. Now, we don't want to go through all the trouble of changing these to the same denominator just to add them. Okay, all that work that we've done would be pointless. So the point is that we are now saying that all these parts are out of 12. And all we're going to do is add the two top numbers, which are called our numerators. So 10 plus 9 is 19. Our next step is to simplify. So we're going to write our fraction. And this time, instead of multiples, we're doing the opposite here. We're going to write our factors. So we're going to write down the factors of 19 and we're going to write the factors of 12. to see if there's any common ones to be able to simplify. So what are the numbers that multiply together to give us 19? Well, we know that 1 and 19 do, and there's no others. Let's have a look at 12. 12, we know 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. Now, are there any common ones? Let's have a look here. They both have 1, and that's all. If the most common factor is 1, we can't simplify this any further. For most students in our classroom, this is the last part of the question that you will be able to attempt, and that is perfect. This will then give you 1 mark to show me that you know your multiples and that you're able to determine the lowest common denominator. You'll get another mark to show that you actually know how to convert these into equivalent fractions with the same denominator. You're then able to show me that you know the process of only adding the numerator. That will give you another mark. And then you can show me that you've actually determined that 1 is the most common factor here. For those who want to achieve above, what I would like you to do is turn this into a mixed fraction. And the process for that is to say, okay, how many 12s are 19? And the remainder is going to be our new numerator. So how many 12s? So we actually do the sum of 19 divided by 12, which is 1. We're then going to subtract 12 from 19, which actually gives us, so let's count up. So let me rewrite that for you. So let's count up 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. That's 7. And we're going to write our denominator. Okay, so there's a few marks to be gained here. We've got 1 that looks at showing me the most common multiple, or lowest common denominator. You're showing me the process of the equivalent fractions. That's another mark. You're showing me that you understand by adding only the numerators the process of adding fractions. You're showing me with the same factor being 1 that this is the simplest form. And you're able to show me how to convert an improper fraction to a mixed fraction by doing that process. So this question here would be worth 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each step shows me a different numeracy skill that's quite important when adding and subtracting fractions.